Good morning, boys and girls. We are on page 55 in your book. So make sure you are turning your page to page 55, lesson 11 homework. Okay, so the first thing the question asks you to do is to solve by drawing this on place value chart, then write an equation and express the product in standard form. Remember, the word product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So that's what we will be looking for today. We're looking for the answer to a multiplication problem for all of them. For the first question right here, it says 2 copies of 4/10. Remember, the word 2 copies means that you're multiplying. So 2 copies. Whenever you see the word of, that means to multiply. So that's why I have the multiplication sign right above of. And then it says 4/10. This is what 4/10 looks like. The 4 is in the tens place, and we know that it's right next to the decimal. So they want me to multiply 2 times 0.4, or 2 times 4/10. So what you could do is you could write 2 copies of 4/10. How do you do that? 2 copies of 4. 4 times 2, right? So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Now, that is 8/10, right? So the answer is equal to 8/10. Now, I want to show you the standard algorithm way as well. So if I were to multiply 0.4 times 2, this is what it would look like. 4 times 2 is equal to 8. And then I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 0 is equal to 0. Now, this is the tricky part that a lot of students don't understand. You're going to make sure that you do exactly the same to your answer as your problem. So you notice here that you move once over to move your decimal. You're going to do the exact same thing to your answer. So your answer is 8/10. Okay? Now we're going to try problem B. For problem B, they want you to multiply 4 times 500s. It says 4 groups of 500s. So what does that mean? You're multiplying your numbers, 4 times 5. And we know that 4 times 5 is equal to 20, right? So you would have 20 groups in the hundreds place. So 5 times 4 is equal to 20. So I'm going to carry my 2, bring down my 0. 4 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. Now, I need to move my decimal over. Oh, wait. And then I almost forgot. 4 times 0 is equal to 0. Now, I need to move my decimal over 1, 2. 2 times. So, same thing here. 1, 2. I'm going to move my decimal over 2 times. So, it's 0.20, or 0 and 2 hundredths. Because remember, you cannot put all of your answers in here because that's way too much in the hundreds place. So you need to move it to the tenths place. So 2/10. Now I'm going to move on to problem C. For problem C, it says here 4 times 7/10. So I wrote down 4 times 7/10. So 7 is in the tens place. So that means that there are what? 4 times 7 is equal to 28. There are 28 in the tens place. Let's see what happens when you have 28 in your tens place. What's going to happen? 7 times 4 is equal to 28. 4 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. I'm going to move my decimal over once. Because we have a decimal here, you need to make sure you do the same thing to your answer. So your final answer is 2 and 8/10. Now the next one. I have 3 times 500. So that means you're multiplying 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is equal to 15. So there are 15 in your hundreds place. Remember that we can't put 15 in the hundreds place and that we have to move the 1 over to the tens place. That's exactly what's going on here. So 5 times 3 is equal to 15. 3 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. 3 times 0 again is equal to 0. I'm going to move my decimal over 1 2 times, and over here 1, 2 times, because what I do to my problem up here, I'm going to do to my answer as well. So I brought down the decimal. Now, for the problem E, it says 9 times as much as 7 tenths. So that means 9 times 0 and 7 tenths. So what is 7 times 9? 63. I didn't draw 63, but there is 63, okay? 7 times 9 is equal to 63. Carry my 6, bring down my 3. 9 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 6 is equal to 6. And if I move my decimal over once in multiplying, then I also do the same thing when I am doing it here. So make sure to move your decimal. So I get 6 and 3 tenths. Okay, now the next problem I have over here is 6 thousandths times 8. So over here, the same thing, I have 6 thousandths times 8. I just noticed this one is supposed to be your tenths place, and that's why it moves over. So I'm going to change this to 1/10. And that's why your number 6 moves to the ones place and your 3 stays in the tenths place. Okay, so over here, again, I have 6 thousandths. So that means they're multiplying 6 times 8, which is 48. There's 48 thousandths in here. Remember, only one number can be in each place value. So your 4 is going to move up. You're going to get 0.048. So I'm going to see if that's true over here. 6 times 8 is equal to 48. 8 times 0 is equal to 0, plus 4 is equal to 4. 8 times 0 is equal to 0. 8 times 0 is equal to 0. I'm going to move my decimal over 1, 2, 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 times. So that's what it's going to look like, 0.048. Now, for problem number 2, they asked me to draw a model similar to the one pictured below. Find the sum of the partial products to evaluate each expression. So what they want you to do here is they want you to find the answer to the problem for adding the numbers together. So that's what I'm going to do. I know that 4, what they did here is they put the 4 on this side, in the ones place. They have the 4 right here. And then 6.79, they spread it out. So 6 is in its ones place, so they put 6 ones. 7 is in its tenths place, so they put 7 in the tenths place. And 9 is in the hundredths place, so the 9 goes in the hundredths place. So 4 times 6 ones is going to give you 24, okay? Now 4 times 7 tenths is going to give you 28 tenths. But remember, when you have 28 tenths, you can't have both in the same place value. So your 2 moves up and your 8 stays in the same spot. 4 times 9 is equal to 36. So that means that you're going to have 36 hundredths. So that means your 6 should be in the hundredths place. So this is what you have. Your 3 is in the tenths and your 6 is in the hundredths place. Now they want you to add all of those numbers together to get your final answer. So I'm going to add 24 plus 2.8 plus 0.36. Now, if you look here, you notice that the 24 is a whole number. You can add zeros right there, so it makes more sense. I'm going to do the same thing right here. I know that 6 plus 0 is equal to 6. 8 plus 3 is going to give me 11. And 4 plus 1 is equal to 5. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. And bring down your 2. Don't forget to bring down your decimal when you're adding. So your final answer is 27 and 16 hundredths. That's what I would write right here, 27 and 16 hundredths. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next problem. For the next few problems, you are going to do the same thing, okay? So for problem B, they asked you to multiply 6 times 7 and 49 hundredths. So right here, I put my 6, and then I'm putting my 7, which is in the ones place. And I noticed that my 4 is in the tenths place, so I put 4 tenths. And my 9 is in the hundredths place, so I made sure to put 9 hundredths. Okay, now I'm going to multiply. 6 times 7 is equal to 42. Okay, and then 6 times 4 is equal to 24. But look here, I have one decimal that is moved over, so I'm going to do the same thing. My decimal is also going to move over once, so it's right in the middle. Now 6 times 9 is equal to 72, right? And you notice that they moved their decimal over 2 times. So what that means is I also need to make sure I move my decimal over 2 times. Sorry, did I say 6 times 9 is 72? 6 times 9 is 54. I'm sorry about that. 54. So I need to make sure that I move my decimal over twice, and my decimal being moved over twice is going to look like that. Okay, 54 hundredths, because it's in the hundredths place. Now I'm going to add all of my numbers together. I have 42 plus 2.4 plus 0.54. And I can write that over here so you can see it better. 42 plus